memorial programs up here. If you want to take one, it has the cottage and elbow lay and 20 feet time. If you want to follow along with us. Okay, for Glenn, Brian, and Pete, there are Korea ribbons up here. If you take one, we're going to go on your left side. And there's one for Roberta too, which will go on her right side.
Do you put this on, or do you?
You can put it on.
Well, because of what we're doing, we'll have you put it on this time.
Bring it over. He'll explain again which side, and then we'll say the blessing together. I'll do it with you.
You rip it, or we rip it ourselves?
You're gonna rip it.
Okay.
We're gonna all maintain our distance, unfortunately. So
This
we'll
is-
have you tear it this time.
So what are we doing?
Okay, that's gonna go on Mom's
But
right
we'll
side.
explain. It's
Okay. Should we take one though, or no?
take one now.
Okay.
Absolutely.
It goes on your right, and all the kids left.
The sons, you all put it on your left.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to begin our service. Before we do, if you have cell phones, can you please turn them off? Unless, of course, you're recording. That's okay. Thank you for that. Did everybody take a memorial program? If you wanted one, they're located up here. If you need to follow along with the prayers, we have some copies for you here. Okay, Yamalki's included. Thank you very much. Officiating at our service today is Rabbi Allison Abrams.
Before we begin, I'm just going to lead what we call the immediate mourners, although everyone here is really a close mourner, in the cutting of Kriya. So the small ribbons that you're wearing are what we're going to tear. And of course, we tear a ribbon, which is really a biblical tradition of symbolizing in some small physical way what you're experiencing on the inside when you have a loss like this. So I will say a few Hebrew words. You can repeat them after me, and then you'll just tear the ribbon. You can do it however you want, either from the middle part up or across the side. Don't worry about doing it incorrectly. And if one of you want to help your mom, that would be fantastic. But I'm just going to say a word, and you can repeat it after me. Baruch Dayan Ha'emet. And you can tear the ribbon. Again, any way that it'll tear is fine. You can either do it from the middle or from the bottom. Don't rip all the way through, just so that it stays together intact. That's fine. That's fine. Any way you can tear it, that's fine. Even if it's just a small tear, it's okay, Leslie. Okay. I know it's with heavy hearts that we're gathered here today to mourn the loss of Sherwin Klasfune, who was a beloved husband, father, grandfather, great-grandfather, cousin, friend. And grief is always very difficult. And I know that the circumstances of the world and our lives right now make it really even more so. Close family had to remain out of town. We have to record and live stream and sit far apart physically. There are traditions that we normally turn to for comfort that we just can't right now. And I just wanted to acknowledge that these are just additional challenges that we have to face, and that our tradition created all of this to help us in these times. And it's an additional level of pain and grief to not have that to support us in times of mourning. So I just wanted to say that and recognize that that really adds to your pain. I understand, and hopefully this can bring some measure of recognition of what you're going through. As someone who had the great joy of being able to share Pesach, Seder, dinner. Seder might be pushing it to say we shared Seder, but definitely dinner. We had Pesach dinner and Rosh Hashanah dinner with Sherwin and my children. I'm really honored to be able to be here with your family and to be a small part of honoring him this way. Achat sha'alti me'et Adonai, ota avakesh. Shivti beveit Adonai, kol yamei chayai. Lachazot benoam Adonai, ulevaker behechalo. My light, my God, this only do I ask, to live in your house all the days of my life. Keep me safe in your tent when evil days come. Hide me in the shelter of your tent. Set me safe upon a rock. Shema Adonai kol yakra, v'chaneni v'aneni. When I call, hear my voice, be gracious and answer. My heart tells me to seek you, to seek your presence. God, my help, do not hide your face, do not forsake me. Teach me your ways, lead me in your paths, and help me to hope in you. Help me to be strong and take heart, still to believe I shall see your goodness in the land of the living. One of the things that our tradition tells us in times of grief is that we can turn to the words of Psalms, both for comfort but also to express that which we may not be able to express on our own at very challenging times. And so we turn to the words of the 23rd Psalm traditionally. Some of you have it in front of you. Feel free to read it with me at this time. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. He guides me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil. My cup runs over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Our rabbis taught that there are 3 crowns: the crown of Torah, the crown of priesthood, and the crown of royalty. But they emphasize that the crown of a good name excels them all. The book of Ecclesiastes says, Tov Shem Mishemen Tov. A good name is to be treasured above precious oil. Wealth, health, even life passes away, but a good name lives forever. It is this view that the Talmud teaches. Monuments need not be erected for the righteous. Their deeds are their memorials. They will be remembered and revered for the kindness they have shown and for the love they have given. They are shining examples of what it means to be a mensch. A Shem Tov, a good name. What did this mean for Sherwin? It means that Bobby, his wife of over 65 years, remembers him as a good husband and father. And she remembers him at 19, handsome and funny, and a few other things which I won't mention from our phone call. A good name means that his children remember him as a hardworking family man. They remember him as Boy Scout leader, baseball coach, dad. Sherwin Klasfune held a Shem Tov. And he also led a good, full life, which we remember today even as we mourn his death. Born on December 23rd, 1933 on the west side of Chicago, Sherwin was raised from the age of 10 on by his mother, who he loved very dearly. As a teenager, he attended Farragut High School with the famous Kim Novak. In his late teens, Sherwin was introduced to Roberta, Bobby Cohn, from the North Side, and they were married in 1953. By the time he was 22, Sherwin had graduated from Northwestern and started his career as a CPA, which would last for over 55 years. Sherwin's 86 years of life were full ones. He loved baseball and opera, boating and camping and square dancing. Jewish tradition continued to be important to him throughout his life, whether it was going to shul for the high holidays or letting the people at Alexian Brothers know that he was Jewish. And of course, his life was full because of you, his family, the people he loved, and the people who very much loved him. And so who better really to speak to his memory and life today? So Dean, I'll start by asking you to come forward.
There we go. I'm sorry? What? Follow the grief? So, greetings. I would like to welcome all 12 of you for coming today. This is bizarre. Before I begin, I must inform you that my dad had a great sense of humor. So I know my dad would want humor more than tears. My dad grew a mustache when my bubby passed away 40 years ago, and my brothers and I grew one as well at that time. And you'll see in a moment, my question my dad would ask is, why is Glenn's goatee the only one that doesn't have gray in it? When I attend the funeral, I always try to learn something about the person. So hopefully after I'm done, you'll learn a little more about Sherwin, our classman. Our dad had a very challenging childhood. He lost his father at the age of 10, and his two brothers were out of the house, which meant he was raised by a single mother who took the loss of her husband extremely hard. I remember my dad telling me that every weekend they went to the cemetery to visit her husband. This was a very, very difficult thing for my dad. Then at age 16, he met the love of his life. The love of his life. Hi, Mom. Okay. They spent the next 70 years together. They enjoyed traveling, square dancing, plays, and eating at the best smorgasbords in town. I do remember when they went to a smorgasbord and love the expression on my parents' face when the owner demanded they pay full price because my brothers and I ate so much. Sorry. My dad's middle initial R stands for Roberta. They had a very unique relationship for 70 years. Believe it or not, they really loved spending time with each other more than anything. They loved going to festivals, camping, and square dancing. I would like to refer them as Jew-billies. Half Jewish, half hillbillies. This would kill if we all had our masks off. I believe I got my sense of humor and my work ethics from my dad. During the tax season, my dad worked 7 days a week for 3 months. He worked to support his family. He taught us to love your family, and your family comes first. He was also a very competitive guy. I would like to share some stories about my dad that ties into his personality. So, approximately 27 years ago, my dad was wearing this headband. It has, if you can't see in the back, it said Pete Rozelle to show his sense of humor. So, it was July 4th, 1993. And him and I were the two fattest guys out there. And so the start of the race, I gotta look at Leslie. I knew it was gonna start off on the wrong foot because We're running through the Lincolnshire, and all of a sudden I could see to the far left, there was a car right in the middle of the street. And who was that? That was my lovely bride and my 2 kids. So we run by him and we wave. It was pretty amazing. Then I go and had my best time ever in my life, finish the race, and then my dad comes wearing this Roselle headband, and he went into full cardiac arrest right before the finish line. But what's amazing is I'm standing over him, he's down, and there was a doctor, Dr. Dean, ironically from Condell, who gave him mouth-to-mouth resuscitation and brought him back to life. So in my opinion, even though it's an extremely sad day today, my father had an extra 27 years to be with us to see his grandchildren and his great-grandchildren. And what makes him such a competitive guy, I remember when he woke up and the first words out of his mouth to me was, "How did I do in the race?" I couldn't believe it. So those of you who know me that think I'm out of my mind, think about that for a moment. That was his first thoughts. Did I finish? And I told him he didn't, and he was arguing with me. Yes, I did. So thank you, Wendy. At least someone's getting this. I'll bring you anywhere. Then the last thing is his sense of humor. It was April 14th. I don't know the year. He calls me up and says, "I don't feel good." So he asked me to come and pick him up so he could lay down at home. So I said, "Why don't we go lay down at Evanston Hospital?" He said, "Okay." I said, "Oi, got to know." So he's in the car. I was hoping he wasn't going to die right there, but thank God again, he didn't. We made it to the emergency room. The emergency room doctor immediately said, "I'd like to give you a shot, Mr. Klasfune, because it'll stop any future damage to your heart." And he goes, "Well, let me talk to my son." So him and I talk, and he goes, "I can't have it done." I go, "Why, Dad?" He goes, "What day is it?" I go, "Sunday." He goes, "Sunday doctor. All the worst doctors work on Sunday." That was 30 years ago when the doctors did work on Sunday. So there's my dad. Again, his sense of humor goes, "I'm not having it done." The same doctor came in on Monday and said, "Now you have my shot?" And he goes, "Yes, he'll do the shot." So what makes it the final thing about this is my dad's sense of humor. So he's recovering from his 5 bypass that he had because he tried to eat his way not to get the bypass, but he had the bypass that week. And his good friend, I'll name nameless, since it's not being on video, great, I don't want to ever get back to him, came to visit him. So his sense of humor was, the guy was coming through the door, the next thing I know, my dad goes like this and pretends like he's sleeping. So he didn't want to spend time with this individual. So as you could see, my dad had a sense of humor. There's a silver lining with this chapter in my life. As soon as my dad got sick and needed my help, our help, it doesn't say mine, correction, our help, my brothers and I and sister-in-laws all got together and helped them move, helped them to get the best medical treatment, sell their condos, and spending some quality time. My brothers and I are closer than we've ever been, which to me is a blessing. Sherwin, our classman, you taught me nothing's more important than family. I love you and will miss you forever. Giving everybody a hug.
Dad, my worldly father, I know you are resting in peace, back with our Heavenly Father, and now seeing your mother, father, and brothers. You were a good husband to Mom, and a good father to Dean, Glenn, and myself. I know how much you enjoyed the grandchildren and great-grandchildren. I'm going to miss you a lot, things going forward in my life. I remember when you were my Little League head coach back in Little League. I would cry if I didn't get to pitch or play first base. You would always make sure I got my wishes. I always liked cutting the grass, working with you around the house and outside the garage. You taught me to be handy with my hands, and I enjoyed doing everything with you. You were the first to me You were with me when I bought my first car in Skokie. You worked hard so you can put all of us through college, and I appreciate that. You always encouraged me to pursue my culinary business background. Dad, I found a beautiful wife and I made 5 gorgeous children. And even though we didn't have the same beliefs, I still loved you as a father. I remember a long time ago we had a talk at your house about changing our relationship from father to son to friend, and we agreed to disagree about our beliefs. After that day, I wanted to get close to you as a friend. I even moved my office to your office in Buffalo Grove to spend more time with you. We loved going to lunch at the Chinese restaurant together by our office and seeing when the check came who had the shorter alligator arms. I also remember a time when I was working in Amarillo, Texas. We were in a Chinese restaurant and the waitress thought that you and I were brothers. Mom laughed hysterically. I wasn't too happy. Even later in life, I used to enjoy working out with you on Sundays at Sedgebrook. Mom and I couldn't wait to listen to Joel Osteen on TV at 11 a.m. You would criticize him and then suddenly you would watch it with us. All grandkids love to hear you greet them with the "nice seeing me" when they saw you. I was shaving you at Alexander Brothers, and I had a feeling this was going to be the last time I was going to see you. The hardest thing is not being able to see you because of the corona quarantine. We can't even hug our mother to comfort her. She needs our hugs and kisses. Dad, enjoy your opera wherever you are now. I promise you today, I will not, and I repeat, I will not pull my pants down in front of you for a reaction. I love you.
First, I'd like to tell Dean that, yes, I do dye my goatee, but I do not dye my hair, so just want to let you know. As we stand here together as a family in the sad times in our lives, I'm trying with all my strength to find the words to express my feelings of Dad. My brother so often told me to find my closure. I truly did not think that I had or would ever find what it was they were asking of me. Then I realized I think I have it all along. I have found that during these past few days, when reflecting on my relationship, sure, there were more things I could have done, and there were more times I wish I would have spent with him. However, I know that in my heart, I never held back my feelings with him. He knew exactly how much I loved him and cared for him, as I know he felt for the same of all of us. I think back on our family trips to Fish Lake. I was laughing thinking about how important I thought he was. Dad would pull up the driveway after a long day of work and it would begin. Mom would rush down for dinner. Mom would rush down and get us down for dinner as she scrambled away to serve us the most delicious meals. We would sit down together to enjoy Mom's great creations, thinking we can share with Mom and Dad our events of the day. Yeah, well, that was never the case. Dad would listen with a quarter of an ear as he cleared his throat and opened his mail. I would think to myself, wow, my dad is the most important human being in the world. I think my brothers and I would agree that was the norm. I would like to think that although he didn't show us he was listening, he in turn really was. Another now hysterical memory that came to my mind while putting this all together was the time Mom drove through the side of the garage. Dad and I were spending some nice quality time together downstairs on the couch, when all of a sudden we see the shadow of the blinds of Mom pulling up the driveway, then boom! Mom slams right through the side of the garage. Dad and I looked at each other in such disbelief of what we just witnessed. Dad immediately rushed outside, and once he realized Mom was okay, I thought he was going to have a heart attack right then and there. You know how he was. And I don't know if he was worried about Mom or the garage. Anyways, I can recall many close times and battles we shared as a family. I can even recall in not such great moments of times, not all long ago, when Dad was at my house and became so angry, he actually pulled off his glasses, rolled up his sleeves, and wanted to kick my ass. My only thought at the moment was almost to laugh, look at him and say, "Really, Dad?" I've always shared my unique relationship with him, as we all did. We each shared that special something that we will never forget or that anyone could ever take away. I need to take a moment to look at my beautiful wife and thank her from the bottom of my heart for all she added to our parents' life. For that I will forever be grateful. She handled every situation with the greatest of class and dignity. I know just how much they love and respect you, and makes me feel so happy. We all knew that sometimes Dad was a bit hurtful in his action and words. At the same time, we accepted that this was just who he was. Life is really about forgiveness and finding our peace with each other within. Dad and I were always on the same page when we were talking about stocks, business, and values in our lives. When it came time that we saw he was starting to fall both mentally and physically, we made a difficult plea of encouraging him and Mom to move and embrace a new way of living. Oi, he fought us on that final move to Sedgebrook. I think we all knew, including Mom, knew it was time. We fought a tough battle in so many ways, making that move. Now I realize the move alone was the beginning of my closure. That is how it began. Mentally, emotionally, and financially. Probably one of my personal biggest battles I have had to date. I know we did the right thing at exactly the right time. I know Mom realizes that, and I think although he would never admitted it, I think he knew as well. These past few years, months watching him fade away always has been one of the hardest times of my life. I know we have all lost a leader in our family, which hurts like I can never imagine. However, ironically, like Dean just said, as a leader, he also found a way to bring us closer than ever before, and that I thank him for. Now we are on our own to make sure we take care of Mom, each other, and our families.
Mine will be very quick. Except I can't probably. Just wanted to say something really quick. When I think of Dad, can you hear me through this?
Yes.
When I think of Dad, 3 words come to my mind: love, patience, and trust. When I lost my dad 18 years ago, almost to this day, I had a hole in my heart that I knew would never heal. I turned to Dad for that comfort of knowing I still had a father figure I loved, needed, and wanted to hold on to as long as I could. He and I shared a wonderful and unique relationship. I loved him, and I knew he loved me. We talked for hours on end of so many subjects and beliefs. I found in him and Mom a new patience, a patience that I never knew I had. I have always enjoyed providing my patience with each of them in ways I can't explain. The greatest feeling that I can take away from my personal relationship with him is that he trusted me. I mean, he really trusted me. I made it my point, especially as his condition worsened, to always make him feel love, patience, and trust. As we all know, gaining his trust, especially financially or medically, was not an easy feat. Somehow I managed to build that with him, and that leaves me with the greatest of joy and gratitude. I will always be grateful for all he and I shared. May he now be at peace and out of his mental misery forever. As I always said to him, never worry, I will always be honest with you and will forever value the trust you had in me.
So, I'm speaking for Brooke and Ben, because they couldn't be here today. Here are a few words about our Grandpa Sherwin. Our grandpa was a family man. Growing up, we had dinner or brunch almost every Sunday, and this continued well into our adult years. Some of our fondest memories as kids happened at the house on Brampton Court, whether it was opening literal bags full of Hanukkah presents or playing games in their side yard. Grandpa loved having us at the house. But having a house built from the ground up wasn't enough for Grandpa, thus the motorhome. We would spend hours in that thing pretending we were operating a drive-through. We even went on a camping trip once. For a couple of Jewish kids from the North Shore, this was not exactly the same trip our friends were taking, but the memories have lasted a lifetime. Then there were the games, charades specifically. Our grandpa loved charades. Please note, Uncle Brian, this is not an invitation for you to take your pants off. This is not the time or place. We're not sure why he loved charades, because he only had one charade ever, Gone with the Wind. Only Gone with the Wind. To be honest, the games with our families never lasted probably more than 20 minutes, but that was enough. There was enough laughter in those 20 minutes to last a lifetime. Probably enough of our uncle's asses, too. On a more serious note, he loved welcoming his first great-grandchild, Willow, to the family. He would FaceTime with her almost daily and always answered every phone call the same way. Hi, baby. He would make the silliest faces and sing Patty Cake over and over to make her smile and laugh. We will cherish those memories forever. The last few years of his life, we saw a more vulnerable side of him we had never seen before. It made us realize he had all these feelings inside that he was never able to fully share. Maybe he didn't say it enough, but we know how proud he was of his boys and how deeply he loved his family. We will miss him, and we hope right now he's somewhere giving one of his famous, seemingly never-ending speeches. We love you, Grandpa, or as Grandma likes to say, Daddy.
In the rising of the sun and its going down, we remember him. In the blowing of the wind and in the chill of winter, we remember him. In the opening of buds and in the rebirth of spring, we remember him. In the blueness of the sky and in the warmth of the sun, we remember him. In the rustling of the leaves and in the beauty of autumn, we remember him. In the beginning of the year and when it ends, we remember him. When we are weary and in need of strength, we remember him. When we are lost and sick at heart, we remember him. When we have joys we yearn to share, we remember him. So long as we live, he too shall live, for he's now a part of us as we remember him. We'll take just a brief moment of silence. Adonai Natan v'Adonai Lakach Yehi Shem Adonai Mevarach. Adonai has given, Adonai has taken away. Blessed be the name of Adonai. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher yatzar etchem b'tuvo v'hemit etchem b'din. We praise you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who forms us in the divine image, who nourishes and sustains us in your goodness. You cause all of us to die according to your wisdom. You know and number every soul. You implant immortal life within us. Blessed are you, Adonai, the true judge. Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, Rav lehoshia. Mechalkel chaim b'chesed, mechaye hakol b'rachamim rabim, somech noflim v'rofech cholim u'matir asirim, u'mekayem munato lishenei alfar. Mi chamocha ba'al givorot u'mido malach, melech memut u'mechaye u'matzmiach yeshua. Baruch atah Adonai, notea b'tochenu chaye olam. Eternal is your might, O God, giving life to all, and great is your saving power. In love you sustain the living, in your great mercy you sustain us all. You uphold the falling and heal the sick. Free the captives and keep faith with those who sleep in the dust. Who is like you, Almighty God, author of life and death, source of salvation. You show steadfast loyalty by giving us eternal life. Blessed are you, Adonai, who gives eternal life to the departed. We'll turn now to the words of El Maleh Rachamim and finally with the Kaddish. If you are able to and would like to rise, please do. El Maleh Rachamim, Shochen Bamromim, Hamitzei Menucha Nechona Tachat Kanfei HaShechina, Im Kiroshim Uteharim, Kizor HaRikira Hamazhirin, Et Nishmat Shaul ben David Ve'edel. Shahalach le'olamo, Baal harachmim yastireu b'seter knafav le'olamim, v'yitzur hachayim et nishmato, Adonai hu nachlato, v'yanuach b'shalom al mishkavo v'nomar. Amen. God of abundant mercy, God most high, may the soul of our loved one who has gone into eternity find the gift of perfect peace in your embrace with the holy and pure, whose light shines like the radiance of heaven. Compassionate God, hold him close to you forever, so that his soul may be bound up in the bond of life eternal. May he find a home with you, and may he rest in peace, as together we say, Amen. And if you'd like to join me, I think the words of Kaddish are again in your packet if you still have it. We say Kaddish, of course, in honor of Sherwin Klasfune this morning, Shaul ben David Ve'edel, Yikadal v'kadash me rabba, ve'alma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayachon v'yomechon v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kariv v'yimru. Amen. Yehei shmei rabba mevarach le'olam omei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitzromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitzadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei d'kudisha b'richu, Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechamata, da'amiran ba'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shmaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to all Israel, and to all the world, as we say together, Amen. You may be seated for one moment, and we are going to be able to take part in the ultimate mitzvah, the mitzvah of the burial of a loved one. We do have a special setup today with small cups for the sand, right, to place in the grave. We would typically do, are we still doing 3 or is that? Okay. We often do 3 cupfuls to show our intention in the burial, that this is an act of loving kindness. Do what you're able to do. These are, of course, extenuating circumstances, so whatever you feel able and comfortable to do today will be wonderful. So, Bobby, if you want to come up first, if someone wants to come with Bobby, and then if maybe just 2 at a time at the 2 or 1 at a time, however you feel most comfortable doing it, want to come up and participate, that would be wonderful. So use these cups, and everyone can go afterwards. Oh, gotcha. The grandchildren want to come.
Ladies and gentlemen, the cemetery staff is going to place the rest of the earth into the grave space. Of course, you're welcome to stay while they do that. If you wish to return to your cars, you can do that also. We're going to officially conclude our service now.